Hello and welcome once again to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. Now, you might recall that about 4 to 5 weeks ago I had done a video blog with the title, "Is this man a terrorist?" I was then referring to the case of Father Stan Swamy, the Jesuit priest who had been implicated and arrested under UAPA in the Bhima Koregaon case, a case where the allegation was that Maoists and Maoist sympathizers had incited violence in Maharashtra. I wasn't surprised that the blog attracted huge response and a very polarized response. Those who claimed that the father was a Maoist and deserved to be jailed and punished, and those who said it was a clear violation of this country's commitment to human rights and the criminal justice system. Well, the tragic news this week was that Father Swamy passed away without a proper trial. So, in a sense, he will never get closure because his name will always be listed as a UAPA detainee, and he never really had the opportunity to make out his case in a court of law. And he died after being denied medical bail for over 8 months. Predictably, there has been a lot of hand-wringing, a lot of outrage that has been expressed over the manner in which the father was, many believe, denied his human rights. The fact is, the outrage will die out. What will not is the belief that all of us in some way, and I mention the word all here, are guilty. And let me tell you today why I say that all of us in some way or the other are guilty in the death of Father Stan Swamy. Let me read out the roll call of the guilty today. The first on my list, the National Investigation Agency, the NI, the premier agency which is supposed to look at terrorist activities. Now, they are the ones who arrested Father Swamy, labeled him a Maoist, claimed that they had evidence in email exchanges of money changing hands, and they led the prosecution against him. Remember, it is the NIA which in a court actually said they needed 4 weeks' time before they could respond to a petition to grant the father, an 84-year-old Stan Swamy who was suffering from Parkinson's, a straw sipper in jail. Now, the NIA claims they have a foolproof case, but here's the catch. The fact is that the NIA didn't even seek his custody once for questioning or interrogation, and yet they insisted that he be packed off to judicial custody, to jail. You go and swoop down on a man and you don't even interrogate him once, and then claim that you have emails which now subsequent evidence is showing could well have been planted as the basis for arresting someone under UAPA? I just wonder, if not a single day custody was sought, why was Stan Swamy arrested in the first place? And was it only to have, as some believe, a chilling effect on those who are to be dubbed as anti-nationals or urban Naxals? Second on my list of the roll call of guilty are our judges. In fact, the entire criminal justice system. Remember, Father Stan Swamy was arrested in October last year. Over the last 8 months, repeated applications were made for bail, regular bail, and on medical grounds. On each time, the court prevaricated, adjourned the matters, or said, okay, we'll think about sending him to a private hospital. By the time the matter reached the Bombay High Court, it was too late. The question, therefore, is, the utterly indifferent attitude of the courts in a way contributed to Father Stan Swamy's death. His health was deteriorating, and yet at no stage did the lower judiciary recognize what was happening in front of them. It raises a huge question mark over their commitment to constitutional rights of personal life and liberty. Third on my list of our accused are the jail authorities. Remember, there have been umpteen stories written about our overcrowded jails. Taloja jail in Navi Mumbai, where Father Stan Swamy was kept, is no different. Every report suggests that the jail is overcrowded, and it was in this overcrowded jail that Father Stan Swamy eventually contracted COVID, is taken to hospital. Why did no jail authority at any stage think it fit that here is an 84-year-old who's clearly suffering? Why not move him out to a proper hospital? Was it not a case of gross and utter negligence on the part of the jail authorities? Number 4 on my roll call are the opposition parties. Yes, this might come as a surprise to many, since it's the opposition today which is raising the case of Father Stan Swamy's death and has even written a letter to the president demanding accountability and a full inquiry. The signatories to the letter interestingly include the NCP chief Sharad Pawar. Now remember, it is the NCP which has the home portfolio in Maharashtra, which in a sense supervises the functioning of our jails. And the Maharashtra police for the longest time was also investigating the Bhima Koregaon case and could have easily intervened while the matter was being heard in the court, and perhaps at least made the plea that on humanitarian grounds Father Stan Swamy should be allowed at least medical bail. Why did no NCP leader call for this while the father was alive? My point therefore is that except for the Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren, who knows the work that Father Stan Swamy has done among the tribals of Jharkhand, his karma bhumi in a way, or indeed the left parties, or maybe the occasional individual politician, why is it that our political system did not raise its voice while Father Stan Swamy was alive? The collective voice of the opposition was missing, and therefore I ask, did it require the death of Father Stan Swamy for the opposition to speak up? 5th on my roll call of the guilty is the central government. Remember, the Narendra Modi government could claim that they inherited the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, the UAPA anti-terror law, from the previous UPA government, which brought it in the aftermath of the 26/11 terror attacks in Mumbai. But what the Modi government has done is further tightened this law, made it even more difficult for anyone to get bail, and then used the provisions of this law to target anyone who is seen as a dissenter. Then that could be a student activist, it could tomorrow be a farmer protester, or as in this case, it could include professors, academics, and those who are dubbed, as I said earlier, urban Naxals or Maoist sympathizers. The problem with the UAPA in its present form and the way the Modi government is using it is that the entire onus is on the accused to prove himself or herself innocent, while the court accepts, based on the Watali case law, the fact that the FIR is taken to be true. So the entire onus has been passed on to the accused, and that makes it very difficult to get bail, and is according to me an assault on our constitutional rights. So they have much to answer. 6th on my roll call of the guilty is the media. Let's be clear. We are a media today which will spend hours chasing Sushant Singh Rajput's case. Hours of prime time is spent on that, and there'll be a social media cacophony around it, an actor's death after all. On the other hand, a priest's imprisonment is ignored. For a section of the media, Father Stan will always remain an urban Naxal, part of a lobby that is out to destroy the country. I want to ask all these primetime warriors, have any of you even got out of your studio comfort to try and investigate the Bhima Koregaon case before you demonize someone? There are serious allegations today that the entire evidence has been planted on computers, and this is now a detailed investigation that has taken place globally. How many of us have seriously investigated this charge being made? How many of us have even bothered to ever travel to Ranchi to find out how do the people there see Stan Swamy, especially the tribal populace there? It is very easy to label someone an urban Naxal and damn the person, and that is why I think the media chorus on cases like this deserves to be condemned. Number 7, and finally, We the people. We too are guilty, my friends. That's right. You and me and every concerned citizen of this country must ask ourselves this question. Have we ever raised issues of illegal confinement under UAPA? Are we such believers in a strong state that we endorse these draconian laws? How many of us have even bothered to read up on the Bhima Koregaon case? Not every one of us can speak up. We don't all have those opportunities. But surely in our own way, we can try to break this silence. Because if we don't break this silence, then the toxic propaganda carries on. Our silence may be out of fear, it could be out of ignorance. But in my view, either way, it's a shame that civil society doesn't speak up more often. My friends, we need to break this silence if only to ensure there aren't any more father stands out there who languish in jail without a trial for years. Let me leave you at the end with a poem of Martin Niemöller, who interestingly was a German pastor. And allow me to read it out to you. I'm sure you've read it also in the past, but one more time is worth it. They came for the communists and I didn't object, for I wasn't a communist. They came for the socialists and I didn't object because I wasn't a socialist. They came for the labor leaders and I didn't object, for I wasn't a labor leader. They came for the Jews and I didn't object, for I wasn't a Jew. And then they came for me and there was no one left to object. Think about it. That was the Straight Bat. And remember, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel for many more such videos. For now, stay well, stay safe,